Jordan lost $600,000. Not in a bad investment, not in a scam, not in a divorce. He lost it by waiting 10 years, just waiting. And the worst part, he thought he was being responsible. Jordan had student loans to pay off first. Then came a wedding, then a house, and the kids. And every single year, he told himself the same thing that millions of people tell themselves. I'll start when things calm down. And every single year he said that, this number got bigger. Now here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. Jordan didn't make a money mistake. Jordan made a time mistake. And that distinction, that one shift in how you think, is going to completely change how you look at every financial decision you make from this point forward. Because the real wealth killer isn't overspending. It isn't a bad salary. It isn't even debt. It's the one thing that feels completely free right up until the moment you realize you've run out of it. Stick with me for the next 12 minutes. The math we're about to walk through is going to genuinely bother you. My name is Cole, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, growth, financial independence, and investing. If you're someone who wants to master your finances, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now look, I know what you're thinking. Cole, time? Really? You're going to tell me that time is money? My grandpa told me that, and I hear you. But I promise you, what we're talking about today goes so much deeper than that cliche. Because most people intellectually understand that time is important. What they don't understand, what nobody actually sits down and shows you with real numbers, is just how catastrophically expensive it is every single time you delay a financial decision. We're going to fix that today. By the end of this video, you are going to look at every financial choice you make through a completely different lens. And that shift in perspective is worth more than any stock tip, any side hustle guide, any budgeting spreadsheet I could ever give you. Let's get into it. When most people think about building wealth, they think about two variables: how much money they make and how much money they save. And those things matter, don't get me wrong. But there's a third variable that dwarfs both of them, and it's the one people consistently underestimate. That's time. Let me show you exactly what I mean with some real numbers. Let's take two people. We'll call them Marcus and Jordan. Both of them want to retire at 65. Both of them invest in a boring, broad market index fund that returns an average of 8% annually, which, by the way, is actually below the historical average of the S&P 500 since 1957, which sits closer to 10.5% before inflation. So we're being conservative here. Marcus starts investing at 25. He puts in $300 a month. That's it. $300 a month, every month, from age 25 to 65. 40 years. Jordan waits. Life gets in the way. Student loans, a wedding, a house, the kids. He tells himself he'll start when things calm down. He finally starts at 35. Same $300 a month. Same 8% return. But he's only got 30 years instead of 40. Marcus starts at 25. $300 per month for 40 years. Jordan waits until 35, $300 per month for 30 years. Same monthly investment, same rate of return. You ready for this? Marcus ends up with approximately $1,047,000. Jordan ends up with approximately $447,000. Same monthly investment, same rate of return. The only difference is 10 years. Marcus ends up with over $500,000 more because he started a decade earlier. And here's the part that should really make you stop and think. Marcus only contributed $36,000 more in actual out-of-pocket money over those extra 10 years. But the outcome difference is $600,000. That's the power of compounding doing work that your paycheck simply cannot replicate. Here's what most people don't realize. It's not the money that's doing the heavy lifting in the long run. It's the time attached to the money. You can't buy more time. You can always earn more money. But those 10 years Jordan lost, they're gone permanently. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Cole, this makes sense. So why doesn't everyone just start earlier? And that is exactly the right question, because this isn't a math problem. If it were just a math problem, everybody would have it figured out. This is a psychology problem. There's a concept in behavioral economics called present bias. And it basically means that humans are hardwired to place way too much value on the present moment and way too little value on the future. Our brains literally discount the future at an irrational rate. It's why we eat the cookie even though we're on a diet. It's why we stay up until 1 a.m. watching Netflix even though we have to be up at 6. And it is absolutely why people say, I'll start investing next year for 15 consecutive years. Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner, the guy who wrote Thinking Fast and Slow. His research showed that people feel the pain of a financial loss about twice as intensely as they feel the pleasure of an equivalent gain. So your brain is looking at that $300 you're about to invest this month and going, that's $300 I don't have for dinner out, for a new pair of shoes, for that weekend trip. And the 1,047,040 years from now, your brain literally cannot feel that in the same visceral way. It's too abstract. It's too far away. This is where it gets really interesting, because once you understand why you're wired to delay, you can start to hack the system. Think about it like a gym membership. Most people join a gym in January with full intentions of going 5 days a week. By March, they're going twice a month and feeling guilty about it. The problem isn't that they're lazy. The problem is that the reward, being healthier, looking better, but is delayed, while the cost, getting out of bed at 6 a.m., being sore, being tired, is immediate. Your brain does a terrible job reconciling those two things. Investing works the exact same way. The sacrifice is now, the reward is decades away. And your brain, being the ancient survival-focused organ that it is going to fight you on this every single step of the way unless you build systems to outmaneuver it. Once you understand why you're wired to delay, you can start to beat the system. You need to build systems to outmaneuver your own brain. Here's an exercise I want you to do, and I want you to actually do this. Don't just nod along. Actually pull out your phone and do the math while you're watching. Take your annual salary and divide it by 2,080. That's the number of working hours in a standard year. That number you get, that's your hourly rate, your real hourly cost of living. Now, every time you're about to make a financial decision, I want you to convert it into hours. A $200 dinner, how many hours did that cost you? That $40,000 car you're financing. How many hours is that? The subscription you forgot about and haven't used in 8 months. How many hours per year is that draining from your life? This isn't about being a miser. This is about creating a real, tangible relationship between your time and your money. Because right now, for most people, that relationship is completely invisible. And invisible costs are the most dangerous kind. Look, let me give you a real example. Let's say you make $60,000 a year. Your hourly rate is roughly $28.85. A $500 impulse purchase, maybe a gadget, maybe a piece of furniture you didn't really need, that's 17.3 hours of your life. Almost 2.5 full work days. Is it worth it? Maybe sometimes. But you should know the answer. The problem is most people never even ask the question. And now here's the time investing version of this framework. That same $500 invested at 25 instead of spent, at 8% over 40 years, that single $500 becomes roughly $10,860. So the real cost of that impulse purchase wasn't $500. It wasn't even 17 hours of work. The real cost was closer to $11,000 in future wealth every single time. Now multiply that across hundreds of small decisions every year. You start to see the picture. This is where we go a level deeper. And this is the part I'm most excited to talk about because hardly anyone discusses this in personal finance content. There's a concept I call time arbitrage. And it's the idea that you can essentially manufacture more financial time by making decisions that your future self will benefit from disproportionately. Here's what I mean. The wealthy don't just invest money, they invest in eliminating future time costs. Every hour you spend learning about personal finance, and I mean really learning, not just passively watching, is an hour that saves you potentially hundreds of hours of financial stress, bad decisions, and lost compounding down the road. Every system you set up, auto investing, automatic bill pay, a solid budget framework, is time you've invested once that pays you back every single month for the rest of your life. The average American spends about 4 hours and 37 minutes per day on their phone, according to data from Backlinko based on app usage analytics. Now, I'm not here to shame you for that because I'm on my phone way too much too. But let's just say you redirect 30 of those minutes per day toward financial education, skill building, or setting up wealth building systems. That's 182 hours a year. That's over 4 full 40-hour work weeks, except instead of getting paid once for those hours, you're building knowledge and systems that compound in value over decades. That's time arbitrage. You're not working more, you're just reallocating existing time toward higher leverage activities. Now, you might be thinking, Cole, this sounds nice in theory, but what do I actually do with this? Great question. Let's talk specifics. All right, so here's the part where we make this real and practical, because information without action is just entertainment. And I didn't make this video to entertain you. I made it to actually help you change something. 4 actions that you can start today. Step 1, calculate your personal hourly rate. I'm serious. Write it on a sticky note, put it on your debit card, make it the lock screen on your phone, whatever it takes. When every purchase has a time cost attached to it, your relationship with spending changes overnight. It becomes visceral in a way that budgeting apps and spending trackers just don't achieve. Step 2, automate your investment before you can say no to it. The single most powerful financial decision most people can make isn't picking the right stock. It isn't finding the best high-yield savings account. It's automating their investment contributions so that the money moves before their present biased brain has a chance to intervene. Set up an auto transfer into your 401k, your Roth IRA, or a brokerage account, whatever applies to your situation, for the day after your paycheck hits. Pay yourself first. Make the decision once and then remove the decision entirely from your monthly life. Research from Vanguard actually found that participants in automatic enrollment retirement plans had participation rates around 90% compared to about 50% for plans requiring active enrollment. Same people, same plans. The only difference was whether the decision was opt-out versus opt-in. Automation wins because it works with your psychology instead of against it. Step 3, do a time audit, not a money audit. Most people, when they want to get their finances together, start with a budget review, and that's fine. But I want you to start with a time audit first. For 1 week, track how you're spending your time in 30-minute blocks. Where's your attention actually going? Because your attention is your most valuable asset, and right now, multiple industries worth trillions of dollars are competing to extract it from you for free. Social media, streaming platforms, gaming, these aren't bad in moderation. But if you're spending 20 hours a week on passive entertainment and 0 hours on financial education, skill development, or income building activities, that imbalance has a compounding cost that doesn't show up on any bank statement. It shows up in your life 15 years from now. Step 4, define your number and make it real. Here's the thing about financial motivation. It's very hard to stay disciplined when you're working toward an abstract concept like financial security or being comfortable. The human brain needs specificity. It needs a target it can actually visualize. So I want you to calculate your actual financial independence number. The standard rule of thumb, the 4% rule, developed from the Trinity study, says that you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio annually in retirement without running out of money over a 30-year period. So if your annual expenses are $50,000, you need a portfolio of approximately $1.25 million. If your annual expenses are $70,000, you need about $1.75 million. Write that number down, put it somewhere you see it, give it a date. I will reach $1.25 million by age 55. Now, you're not investing in the abstract. You're investing toward a specific, real, time-bound destination. And that changes everything about how you make daily decisions. I want to share a quick story because I think this makes it all land a little differently. There's a well-known parable in finance about a king who offers a reward to someone who performs a great service. The man asks for something seemingly small. 1 grain of rice on the first square of a chessboard, 2 on the second, 4 on the third, doubling every square for all 64 squares. The king laughs. He thinks this is a great deal. By square 64, that man is owed 18 quintillion grains of rice, more than all the rice that has ever existed on Earth. That is the power of compound interest. And the reason it's so hard for us to intuitively grasp is that the early squares look completely unimpressive. After 10 squares, you only have 512 grains of rice. After 20 squares, about 500,000. It's not until you get into squares 40, 50, 60 that things go absolutely parabolic. Your investment portfolio works exactly the same way. The early years feel meaningless. You're putting in $300 a month and watching it slowly creep up to $5,000, then $12,000, then $25,000. And you think, I'll never get there. This doesn't even feel like it's working. But you are building toward your late squares. And the people who quit in the early squares, because it doesn't look impressive yet, they're the ones who miss the exponential phase entirely. Your job right now, no matter what age you are, is to get onto the board, and then to stay on the board. Look, here's my honest take after everything we've covered today. Most people are going to watch this video, nod along, think, yeah, that's really interesting, and then go back to doing exactly what they were doing before. And that's not me being cynical. That's just human nature. That's present bias doing exactly what it's designed to do. But some of you, and I genuinely believe this, some of you are going to take one thing from this video and act on it today. Maybe it's setting up that automatic investment. Maybe it's calculating your hourly rate for the first time. Maybe it's just writing down your financial independence number. And that one action taken today is going to compound, just like the money does, into something that changes the entire trajectory of your financial life. Time is the only resource that is truly non-renewable. You cannot hustle your way into more hours. You cannot inherit more time. You cannot borrow it or leverage it or negotiate for more of it. Every single day that passes is a day that either worked for you or didn't. And the beautiful, slightly terrifying thing is that which one it is. That's almost entirely up to the decisions you make. You already know this stuff matters. The gap between knowing and doing is where financial futures are won or lost. So close that gap. Start today, not Monday, not next month, today. If this video gave you even one new way of thinking about time and money, do me a solid, hit the thumbs up button. It genuinely helps the channel reach people who need to hear this. Subscribe if you want to keep building real financial knowledge, and drop a comment below. What's the one action you're going to take today? I'm Cole. This is the Money Professor. I'll see you in the next video.